Welcome, everybody, to yet another episode of the Difaba podcast, where we talk about children, their behaviors, and development. I'm your host, Dr. Lilian Kerubo, a pediatrician and behavioral enthusiast. And today, we have a guest in studio. Her name is Dr. Neema Lema, who is a parent, and she'll tell us more about herself as we continue in this season of parenting that we are focusing on. So, welcome, Daktari.
Thank you.
Tell us a bit more about yourself.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Karubo. So my name is Nema Lema, and as she said, I'm a pediatrician. I'm a mom of a child on the spectrum, and I'm an autism enthusiast. That's the word you used.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I speak on behalf of children with autism and neurodiversity at large. Yeah.
Wow, that's so
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah.
So, thank you for coming to this podcast episode, and we'd like to learn more, especially when it comes to parenting a child who has additional needs.
Yeah.
So, before you go into that, tell us about your parenting journey. How did you become a mom? How many children do you have?
All right. So my parenting journey goes back to the year 20, I think 2012 or 2013. 20. So parenting starts on conception. Yeah.
Yeah.
It starts on. So
Yeah,
it
so the
should
year
be
before.
2012.
Okay,
So it
okay,
should be
okay,
2012.
good job.
Yeah, so 2012. So 2012 is when I conceived my first pregnancy. But unfortunately I lost it.
Oh no.
Yeah, when the pregnancy was at 29 weeks.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you. So yeah, it was a very dark moment for us as a family. So we went through that. Then I conceived again the same year, and now got my firstborn, who will be turning 10 years in July.
Yay.
Yeah, I know, double digits
Double
finally.
digits, yeah.
Yeah, and he's the one with additional needs.
Okay.
And then after that, 2 years later, no, a year later. Oh my God.
It's all
A year
right.
later.
It's all right. It's all right.
A year later, I conceived for my now second, third born. And then a year later for my. So yeah, classic Doremi, like Mimi Yulem say. But yeah.
That's good. But that's good. Some people say it's better you focus on the parenting and then.
Yeah,
go onto
actually, I
other
think
things.
so. Like
Yeah.
looking back, it really gets rough.
Yeah.
It really, really gets rough.
Yeah.
But my last born will be turning 6 I think in the next 2 weeks on the 22nd.
Yeah.
And looking back, I'm like, okay, that was the right decision.
Yeah.
Like if I would
Yeah.
given more space, would most likely maybe I'll just end up with 2 or 1. Because
Exactly.
it's like with age,
'Cause that's
you
what I
really
did.
get.
And now I'm stuck on 2.
Yeah, with age it gets more challenging.
More, yeah, quite.
And I think
yeah.
responsibilities and all that. Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us more about parenting a child with additional needs. What are the highs, the lows? What are the challenges? And how did you come to find out that your
Yeah.
child has additional needs?
Yeah. So, wow. Parenting a child with additional needs yourself to be at an additional level. That's what I can say. Because it really takes a lot from you. Okay, parenting is not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy at all. Now, parenting a child who has additional needs means you have to give the basics and then now the extra.
Yeah.
So you as a mom need to really be at that extra space. And trust me, it's not very easy. It's not a very easy space to constantly be in because there's a lot also that is happening at the same time. Yeah. So I remember when we got the diagnosis, by the time I was having my kids, I was already a pediatrician.
Okay.
So yes, you could see, something is off, but also at the same time, you're super scared to really face exactly what is happening.
Yeah.
And I remember I really did hide from it. Till when one day we were in a birthday party, then my son got a proper meltdown. It was at that time I was like, okay, I really need to find out exactly what this is and need to face it.
Yeah.
So by the time I was going for that diagnosis, I already had my second born. Yeah. So it took a huge toll on me, also on us as a family, because facing the autism diagnosis is easy.
Yeah.
It's at this point when you know, knowledge sometimes can really hurt you, because the more you know, the more you know the implication of that diagnosis, and the more worrisome you become.
Yes.
Because then you're like, oh my God, what if?
Exactly.
So for me as a person, I usually go like, I have a problem here, I face it. Like, so when I was doing that, and then I was also having a second born, I always say I kind of denied him the love, affectionate, and attention, and the emotional connection, because I numbed everything, and I was just focusing on how are we going to deal with this diagnosis. So I can say for a couple of years, I was operating from that state.
Yeah.
I was operating from that state. Then eventually we came around it. To be able to get to the stage or to the journey of acceptance takes a lot. Like you literally have to go through all those processes. So it may really take time. It may really take a lot. And then for me, I was already having more babies.
Yeah.
So yeah. So now having him, and then now having a second born and a third born, I constantly have to check myself. Like, am I being fair? Am I being rational? Am I really connecting? Am I being intentional?
Yeah.
And that also needs you to be in a very good mental and emotional health.
Exactly.
That's not easy.
It's not.
That's not easy,
It's
trust
not,
me.
yeah.
That's not easy. So you keep on checking yourself. You put on systems that will constantly help you check yourself. You put, people around you will constantly check yourself. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's been quite a journey.
It is. Oh my God. It
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
I look back and I'm like, I cannot believe that was me.
Imagine.
Yeah.
You've come a long way.
Where?
So
It is so
along this
true.
journey, who has helped you? Who have you gone to? Who have you asked for help? Who has been a source of comfort or even education or even technical assistance for you as a parent?
So a lot of people, like if I don't mention someone, doesn't mean they were not helpful. No.
Yeah.
It's because it's so
it takes a village.
It takes literally. Like now this one is literally like you need people. You need people around you.
Yeah.
You really do need people.
Yeah.
So of course I'll start from my parents, my mom and my dad, my siblings. I'm the firstborn and we are 3. So my 2 brothers, I happen to be the only girl. I know. So my 2 brothers have really, really stood by me.
Yeah.
Of course, the father of the children, like he has been there. I remember it was him who went for the diagnosis, because I was like, oh my God.
I don't want to face this.
Yes. So it was him who actually took him for that diagnosis that day. Yeah. And then so other than the family, then my friends, I have a very good support system of friends, and I truly, truly treasure them. And I love you guys. Yeah, they know themselves.
Yeah.
And then now the professionals, starting from the one who did the diagnosis, and then now the education, Eva Napotuni. I'll always mention her name. She really helped me. She's the one who did the educational assessment, and then now, of course, referred me to the school and the shadow teacher, because before that I'd reached I would say a rock bottom, because all the schools that I had thought would be able to take care of my son told me they were not able to. So it was a very difficult moment for us.
Yeah.
Very difficult. It's one of those things that you feel like, okay, life is literally defeating me. Yeah. Then so I met her, then she really helped me with that. Then after that, now it's a journey. My nanny, oh my God, may God bless her.
Hey, God bless
my
nannies.
nanny. Yeah, oh my God. I stayed with her since when he was 4 months, and she left when he was 7.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow, that's a long time.
It is.
That's some serious investment.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So all my kids went through her. To date, oh my God, she like it's literally like a family.
Yeah.
Yeah, because now it was so with her we had the diagnosis together. I trained her how to take care of her. She's the one who taught her counting, coloring.
Wow.
Like we literally had to change our home setting so that their days are super structured.
Yes.
And so that, intervention is actually done from home. And it was me
Exactly.
training her. Then because somehow, I don't know, for some reason, I was not able to teach my son, by the way. And even for my son would not allow me to teach him.
Wow.
Like, I want Auntie Light. He was Auntie Light. I want Auntie Light to teach me.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I'm not very patient, maybe. But he was like, no.
You're there for the comforting,
yes,
and the love
but
and
this
affection.
thing of CG schooling and
Education, somebody
Auntie
else.
Light, yeah, Auntie Light,
and that's fine.
Yes, yeah. So that, and then now the siblings, because once the siblings came, that's when we actually started seeing the actual benefit of all the things that we were doing.
Yeah.
Because once the siblings came, his social skills improved, his language, that's when his language actually came. Yeah. And then the bonding, him being able to go out and just be able to interact with other kids. Because most of the other time he'll just opt to be alone, seated in a certain corner with his toys. Yeah. So once the siblings came, and I think maybe that's how God arranged it. Because they all came together, then they kind of grew up together as well, coping each other. Of course, it's not easy as a parent, but I think for him, it really worked for him. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. You've had a lot of people coming in to assist
Oh, yes.
you.
And so many other people from neighbors.
Yeah.
People, because I remember there was a day my son got a meltdown. I think it was maybe 2 a.m. He was wailing, like everybody came out.
From the estate.
Yes.
To see what's happening.
What is happening?
Wow.
Imagine.
That's really
everybody
something.
came 2 a.m. You're like, how are you guys? You heard? You're like, yeah, it's your baby. And we're like, no, he's just having a meltdown. So I remember that day we actually had to drive him out, like put him in the car and went round. And
Just
that's
to
how he
calm
fell.
him
Yeah.
down. Wow.
That's how he fell asleep. 2
Yeah.
a.m.
Can be quite a challenge.
It is.
Yeah.
Trust me, it is. Yeah.
And I know there are many parents out there who have a similar history, maybe with a child with autism. And it's good to hear that, there is help and there is hope beyond the challenges.
Yeah.
So how were you parented when you were a child, or even now? Some of us are still being parented. So how
tell
were
me
you?
about it. You realize I need them more now.
I still need to be parented. So how are you parented as a child or now? And how different is it from how you are parenting now, or how similar is it? Yeah.
I grew up in a middle class family. And how can I say it? I think it was both authoritative and authoritarian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, okay, there's room for negotiation, but
in the end,
we have very clear boundaries of the negotiation.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we have those moments of like, you know what? This is the line. Gonna follow this, and no discussion. And then we had those moments of, okay, what do you think? So we had. I think that's what I can say about my mom and my dad. Yeah.
And are you doing the same in your home? Or
yes, I think yes. But the difference is I think I've expanded
the boundaries.
The boundaries. Yeah. Yes, you have moments where you just put your head, you're like, your leg down, you're like, this is the way we are going to follow. But then you have all those moments of, okay, what do you guys think? And sometimes you give options so that they feel they're actually part of that decision making.
Yeah.
But really in your head, like, I know where we are going.
Everybody has their own style.
Yes.
And do you ever find yourself, because like I sometimes sit down and I remember something maybe that happened when I was a child, and I maybe redo it in my head. So do you ever do the same for yourself, like reparent yourself, kind of like?
Yeah, a lot of things, especially the authoritarian part. Yeah,
definitely.
Because there are things you wished you had, like people would have understood you from where you're coming from first, before giving you like,
a
this is
punishment
cast
or
on stone.
something.
Yes,
definitely.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I do have a lot of those moments.
Yeah.
I
do also. And this being Africa, we always find ourselves either being parented by people who are not technically our biological parents, or we are parenting children who are not our biological parents. You know, we parent other people's kids and everything. Is that something that you've gone through?
Okay, I would say yes, because you see, I'm a millennial. And so when we grew up, like, your responsibility of everybody. I mean, I do not need to know your parents.
Exactly. Yeah.
If I see you or find you doing something mischievous, somehow it's my responsibility to actually correct that properly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, I've been parented by many people. Our neighbors, our hometown is Arusha. Arusha is not it's not a big city. It's yeah. And now where we lived, it's even smaller. I remember at that time it was looked like a village. Yeah, quote unquote. But of course, right now it's completely different. So yes, as much as you lived in your own compound and your own gate, but you had neighbors and friends of mom and dad who they find you in the street and they're like, Achayo, what are you doing?
Yeah.
They'll have their own opinion. Yes. So
Exactly.
yes.
Yeah.
And I think having that in mind, it kind of keep you in check. Like,
Exactly.
there's a way you have to uphold yourself.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it really helped to be
It
a
did.
community,
Yes.
so that you know that you are not just of yourself.
Exactly.
There's a whole community behind you, so you better act right.
Exactly. And I think that's why we are where we are. I kind of feel,
exactly.
yeah. And it's unfortunate that maybe, I don't know if you can correct me, that us as millennials, when you look at the way we are parenting our children now, we are losing that.
Yeah, we are.
We are becoming more
definitely are.
westernized, quote unquote,
Yeah.
and losing the primary reason we got to where we are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that,
Yeah.
definitely, because we are becoming more nuclear. You know, it's just me and my kids.
Yeah.
The world doesn't matter,
Exactly.
or my community doesn't matter. And that isolates the children.
It does.
They lose cultural values. So I really believe we might be losing something.
A lot.
In a bid
I kind of feel,
yeah.
I also feel the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe as we wind up, when you were a young child or a young girl, did you ever think you'd be a parent? And how different is it now that you are a parent? How different is the reality versus the fantasies that you had?
I don't think if I ever thought I'll be a parent.
You thought you'd be young forever?
Trust me.
Yeah.
I cannot remember any day in my life that I thought, maybe I knew I was going to have kids. I really don't know. But this thing of one day I'm going to have my children, la la la. No. I actually never used to have
those
those
thoughts.
kind of
Okay.
fantasies.
All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Now, Doc, I know you also have your own channel. You also have your own thing that you're doing. So maybe just a few minutes, you can look at the camera, tell them about all the nice, amazing things that you do.
Okay.
And
Thank you. So where are we starting from?
You can start with the health. Let me help
Okay.
you.
So yes, as you have heard, so I advocate for children who are neurodiverse, and I have a YouTube channel, Autism and Beyond. We started it in February this year.
Okay.
Actually, we
That's
are how many
nice.
months? 4 months now. We are 4 months now. And in this channel, I really share my own experience, and also as a parent and also as a professional, on how to handle the practical bits when it comes to handling a child on the spectrum. Very practical things like nail cutting, how to shave hair, how to potty train, very practical strategies. And so you can go ahead and please subscribe, watch us, and follow us on all the other socials. I think once you go there, you'll be able to find what I do, the rest of what I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for coming today. And I know this episode will help a lot of parents who have children on the spectrum or even conditions such as ADHD, cerebral palsy, because it's not easy being a parent of a child with additional needs. And it's good to see that this is something that is happening and that there is help for them.
Thank you for having me. And this is beautiful. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Difaba podcast. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share it with anyone who you feel might benefit from it. Till next time, bye-bye.